The tale of Angela Rayner and the things she does in her downtime. She goes to Ibiza and she's criticised. She goes to the opera and she's too common to go to the opera. She goes to the beach. She's too middle class to go to the beach or to have a drink or whatever. I don't know she can't. Whichever way she turns, Angela Rayner is like a kind of receptacle for the snobberies in this country, particularly those wielded by the right-wing press in this country, I would say. And Natasha Clark, not Angela Rayner, Natasha Clark is here to talk to me about this.
Just because we're both gingery, that doesn't mean you can
You're not
make that mistake, I'm afraid.
Listen, this is yet another example, isn't it, of where the Daily Mail and the like goes after Angela Rayner. We'll come to other politicians, but goes after Angela Rayner in a very particular way. And they really... They want it every way, don't they? The woman can't do anything without them finding some class-based reason to criticise her.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. And, the way that the Daily Mail and other newspapers have sort of written up these pictures which were splashed across some of the papers in the last couple of days. Angela Rayner having a drink on the beach.
In Sussex, not in Rio de Janeiro.
In Hove, enjoying I think many would say, well-deserved summer holiday, yes, as we all should be.
On a shingly beach.
On a shingly, very nice-looking beach, wearing quite a posh Dryrobe jacket, as has been described by the Mail. It's a Dryrobe. If you're into swimming, aren't you,
I'm
Sheila?
into swimming.
So you know
I've got a Dryrobe.
Have you?
Yes,
they are very nice and they are very expensive. Yeah. And actually, you know what?
160 quid.
It's quite a lot for basically what's a posh towel in a
it's
coat.
More. No. It's more than a posh towel.
Yeah,
it's a waterproof Gore-Tex coat with fabulous lining in the middle that helps you to dry off when you come out of the cold water.
It does look great. You do see a lot of people around town wearing them, don't you? And I think, I'm not sure, that's maybe a slight step too far.
You mean wearing them as normal coats?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I don't like
to that idea.
No.
No, not walking the dog in them. No, not for me. Not for me. So basically these pictures have been slightly twisted and slightly, seized upon by some of Angela Rayner's critics, saying, talking about the fact that she's trying at the same time she's sipping rosé on a beach, she's going to be, taking war to the middle classes with her council tax reforms, which potentially might put up your bill by hundreds of pounds, isn't she?
Stop you buying a Dryrobe and a glass of wine.
You too. But, it's just an example, like you say. Can politicians firstly enjoy anything? Is there anything that Angela Rayner can do right, or is it completely hypocritical for our politicians for us to want to see really normal working class politicians not spending the money on anything and not going out and not enjoying themselves, or not having fun,
or even people who are very wealthy? Let them spend their money, I say.
Yeah, and obviously, do we want? Is this really the best we can hope for our politicians? It very much feels like, as a media, as a society, they can do no right.
Yeah.
We complain when they're really boring. We complain when they're having fun. We complain when they're doing their own thing. We complain when they're having a drink. We complain when they're not.
And am I right in saying that the Mail article said it was a huge glass of wine, when in fact we've since learnt it was actually a gin and tonic
glass of
goblet?
Gin and tonic, which, as you know, comes in a very big glass. That's
could have been Tanqueray Zero for all we know.
Yes, I'm told that I think it was a gin and tonic. That's what I was told. But yes, the Mail had said it was rosé, and I think their funny little caption was, everything's looking rosé for Angela Rayner. Yeah. Very funny. But compare this to other coverage where you might see, an alternative headline, Angela Rayner stuns in camouflage Dryrobe, sipping large glass of wine on beach, looking amazing. We don't get those.
Or she keeps it British and goes to the beach in Sussex.
Exactly. Yeah, which we might have seen. Boris Johnson ditches family holiday, decides to spend it in Cornwall in real patriotic show of support with big flag behind him.
Yes, yeah.
And it's the way that we paint our politicians differently, right?
But also with Labour, there was a great deal, I think personally it was justified, but a great deal of criticism for the freebies that they took to dress well and have the right specs and all that. So we're saying don't take money to pay for things, to pay for nice things. And then when Angela Rayner buys her own drink or her own coat, it's not the right coat.
No, and she shouldn't be spending that much money on a coat anyway.
It's just silly, isn't it?
And
the whole thing.
It's tough, isn't it, when you are a politician? Where is the line between how in touch with the public you are or out of touch? And obviously, when we think about former politicians, we think about Rishi Sunak being an incredibly wealthy man. Did that make him a bad Prime Minister? some would say no, some would say yes, he was out of touch and didn't get me and my problems and, didn't understand the plight of the working man. But then you have people like, Boris Johnson and Nigel Farage, arguably, of course, in their own right, very rich men, very rich individuals. But many people say they do understand what it's like to be me, and they do get and have that connection and that touch with the public. I don't think it'd be unfair of me to say that Keir Starmer probably does struggle to be in touch with the common working man, apart from when he's talking about football, which seems to light up his face and seems to sort of make him a bit more of a normal guy. But Angela Rayner's not allowed to do anything that might make her normal, even having a glass of rosé or a glass of gin and tonic on the beach.
Thankfully, she seems well able for this nonsense, doesn't she?
I'm not sure she's bothered in the slightest.
Yeah.
I think she very much shrugs it off. I think she said, there was pictures of her DJing in Ibiza, I think, last summer, and said, I can take a day off, And it was the same with the opera pictures, saying when she was pictured going to the opera, well, why on earth shouldn't she go to the opera? But yes, I think it does go something to the heart of our politics about how difficult it is. Who would want to be a politician?
I was going to say, you will never really know who it puts off, will we? But I would guess it puts people off joining politics.
Yeah, I think so. If knowing that every sort of move that you make is going to be scrutinised in the way that it is, and I think especially as a woman, and I speak to a lot of female MPs who say, would you ever like to become an MP? And I say, absolutely not for the criticism and the scrutiny that you get.
Well, for the record, the dress I'm wearing today cost about £24.99 in H&M about 5 years ago.
Oh, this is from H&M too. My shirt's from H&M. It's quite cheap, actually. I think it was about £20.
Yeah. Is that a posh watch?
It is quite a posh watch, actually. Yeah, this is a Garmin watch. Is that too posh to it was a few £100s.
You deserve it. You work hard.
I know. Treated myself at Christmas.
Good woman. Up the cheap shirts and cheap dresses. Thank you very much, Natasha. Natasha Clark, LBC's political editor.